What's going on, guys? This is Travesty here, and today we are back with week 9, potentially the final week, the last week of the regular season of season 4 of the Pokemon Premier League. So we have managed to crawl our way from 0-3 up to 4-4, and that gives us the 8th spot on the league table, just clinging on to a playoff berth at the moment. So it all comes down to this final week, because the people below us can win games that put them ahead of us, etc. But if we win, we're guaranteed in no matter what, because we have enough of a differential gap over Nova, who is sitting right beneath us, and then the person beneath them is Jack, the Don Fanatic, who is our opponent this week. And so if we beat Jack, then there's no way he can overtake us, but if we lose to Jack, then he guaranteed overtakes me. And I think we'd need weird things to happen with differential too for anyone else to get through. I think there is a situation where if it's a 0-0 win and then Shroom 6-0 someone, then Shroom Raver can make it as well. So there is a possibility, but the most likely outcome is one of us three, those first three that I mentioned, makes it through. But if we win this game, we're through to playoffs. There's nothing anyone else can do to beat us if we win. Like if we have too much differential, we have too good a record for anyone else below us to catch up if we win this match. So no pressure, but it's basically just an elimination match for me to begin with. So if I win this, I'm in, and then I just have to, again, like PPL NX, just win every subsequent game and keep the dream alive. And of course, Jack is not going to make that easy for us. He's a fellow member of the council, and his links will be down in the description, just like everyone who's in PPL Season 4, so you can go check them all out. But he brings an extremely spooky team with him. First of all is that Terrapagos, that thing basically just stops setup sweepers in their tracks no matter what you bring. An Annihilate, which can be really annoying to play around, trying not to give it too many Rage Fist boosts. Weavile, who's arguably like the best revenge killer in the game. And then two really interesting Terra captains in Rachi and Volcanion. Man went and drafted 3 mythicals and thought no one would notice, and 2 of them can Terra as well. Terra Volcanion is actually a huge threat to this team, because it can run just like Steam Eruption, Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, and Terra Blast Fairy, and that just kills everything I have. So fully expecting that those 4 moves and a Terra Fairy Volcanion, and then Rachi might want a Terra as well. He might try and preserve the option to Terra on both, but I expect Volcanion to be the primary Terra target here. And then a couple of interesting like walls as well, like Shaman, Feathernippity, Gastro could come as like a bit of a wall core. I don't really expect the Tornadus because I've just got a whole Thunderous, which kind of just beats it 1v1, and if it doesn't have a great matchup into my team either. Honestly, I was not expecting the Impidimp or Charjabug much at all, or the Yanma, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, he could bring Impidimp into setup spam. So I do have the barest of techs for an Impidimp tacked onto this team as well, just in case it's like screens, parting shot, or whatever. I do have a plan for that. So yeah, but we're going to focus on the top 3, the Terra captains, and then one of the walls I think is the more likely outcome to come to this game. So in facing that down, I said that Volcanion was a huge threat. We've got a really weird plan around it, which is basically to try and bait the Terra, and part of that is the Covert Cloak Roaring Moon. So this can switch in on Steam Eruptions without worrying about the burn. It can switch in on Flamethrower Sludge Bomb just fine, because it's got very good natural Spadef, and we're pretty invested in our bulk. We went HP more than Spadef because it also allowed us to live something else. I think like a hit from Annihilate. I think we live like a Drain Punch at +1 or something like that, so we can get off good damage there if we want to, and then some speed to creep anything that is outspeeding speed creeping my Goldengo, because I don't expect him to worry about speed creeping the Scyther, and like those base 100s can't speed creep it anyway, so it's just kind of everything from Jirachi down to Terrapagos we should be outspeeding with this investment. And then Roost to keep ourselves healthy, U-turn to pivot. This is kind of a different role for Roaring Moon that I haven't brought it in much, which is that like bulky Spadef pivot role. We can kind of handle things, get off chip with U-turn, EQ, knock off things, items, do good damage, still be fast, etc. Pretty cool set. I was thinking about DD, but it's just too hard to get up in this situation, and rather have the utility of the other things that it can do. The idea here is we could switch in on Volcanion the first time, as he probably goes to Steam Eruption or Sludge Bomb, predicting the Primarina, and then we can U-turn out expecting the Terra Fairy, get a little bit more chip on it, go into Goldengo, and then once it's Terra Fairyed, we can just make it rain and get rid of it from there. And once it's taken that chip as well, that cleans it up for our Cinderace endgame, which is the second one you see there, and that's what's intended to be the primary endgame sweeper. So what are we doing with Cinderace? Pyro Ball spam looks really, really good into Jack's team. Pretty much the only things that want to switch in are the Volcanion and the Gastrodon, right? So we have Trailblaze for Gastrodon. It should be doing over half unless it's like Rindo Berry. And so if we SD up on the switch, then we should be able to just Oko that thing. And then Gunk Shot is for potentially Terra Fairy Volcanion, or it is also just like either that or High Jump Kick for the hardest hitting move, and I wasn't going to risk High Jump Kick into a team with an Annihilate. I don't think. I'd rather go for a slightly safer option, even if it's still not accurate. Unfortunately, we do have to hit our moves for these mons to pay off. But the fun thing with the Cinderace here is the investment. So we're running heavy duty boots because I've teched this to do specific things from full, and that is that from a Terrapagos, we will guaranteed live a max special attack modest Terra Starstorm, and that will guaranteed knock us into Blaze range. And so if we Pyro Ball, break the Terra Shell on the first one, he goes to Starstorm, puts us in Blaze, then the second Pyro Ball will KO. So the combination of a Pyro Ball to break Terra Shell and a Blaze boosted one will kill Terrapagos, which means we may not even need the SD. If we've forced the Terra on Volcanion, we get into Blaze range and we get a Trailblaze up, then we outspeed the Weavile, and we will also live a modest Terra Starstorm into a Jolly Band Ice Shard from Weavile. So we'll still live that one, so even if it goes Ice Shard, we'll live. As long as we hit a Pyro Ball, then it dies, and we should be able to just clean up from there. So that's kind of the plan with this Cinderace. Nice and specific EVs, love building mons like that, and then just it'll hit super hard. Hopefully it pays off with the tech that we are going with. I mean, the tech isn't in the moves, but it is in the spread, which I think is really fun. And obviously Blaze is a little bit weird for Cinderace, and I think that's cool, because we didn't want to Trailblaze turn ourselves into a grass type, and then we're weak to Ice Shard from Weavile. Then we just have Choice Scarf Goldengo. This thing is a pretty good revenge killer into his team. Again, it's the Gastrodon and the Volcanion are the things that would like be happy-ish to switch into this. Everything else I love taking a Make It Rain. And Jirachi that can take a Make It Rain obviously doesn't want to take a Shadow Ball. And then we have Focus Blast in case it's like Rapid Spin Terrapagos gets up to +1. If we've broken the shell with something else, then we can come in and click Focus Blast and do good damage. We are speed creeping a modest Terrapagos, so unless he's running max speed Timid, he won't be outspeeding us. Or like not necessarily max speed Timid, but unless he's running Timid, he won't be outspeeding us. And I think he'll probably want to go modest with a speed boosting move like Rock Polish or Carmine, not Carmine, Rapid Spin here, although I do expect him to bring Carmine as well. Probably with Starstorm and then a choice of Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, or Earth Power as the last move. There's a chance he brings Dazzling Gleam just to stop like a Roaring Moon sweep, but I think he will probably expect Starstorm to be doing enough, which means that Spadef DD Roaring Moon looks really good if he doesn't bring Dazzling Gleam, but because he can, I just can't guarantee that I can actually set up on Trap, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Scarf Goldengo does what Scarf Goldengo does. Memento is there to potentially set up a Cinderace sweep in the late game if we need to against something else that's Scarfed, or we know we live a hit from or something like that, or if we know we can't kill the things remaining with a particular move, we just go Memento to enable that Cinderace to get up and do things. Then we have a Rocky Helmet Primarina. This is our cope check to Weavile. If he's Boots, which he's run Boots almost every week on Weavile, then we do not get 2-hit KO'd by Poison Jab, but if he is a boosting item like Choice Band or Life Orb, then we will get 2-hit KO'd if he makes the prediction, but otherwise we just have Rocky Helmet because, let's be honest, you're probably clicking knockoff the first time Weavile comes in. It's the best move in the game, and Rocky Helmet at least means we get some value out of our item before losing it, get some chip, break potential Focus Sash on the Weavile, and then we can fire off a Moonblast from there. We have Energy Ball to hit the Gastrodon on the switch if we need to, and just to kind of like pressure it, because this thing is a pretty good switch into Gastrodon as well. And we can pressure it out with an Energy Ball. We can't really run anything that can touch Volcanion before it Terras, which is another reason forcing the Terra on it is nice, because then we can just click Moonblast into it and do a lot more damage. And then Light Screen is another thing we can click if we're predicting the Volcanion to try and reduce damage from Sludge move or whatever it is. And Encore is specifically so we're not set up fodder for the Terrapagos, because anything else that like Weavile's not going to click SD in front of us, and it's not going to bulk up in front of us, and we can just Moonblast them into oblivion. So the Terrapagos might want to come in and click Calm Mind, potentially like Jirachi as well, and we can encore those to just kind of see what they want to do, and then go from there. Once it's encored in, we can go into another one of our Mons and handle them from that point. Then we have Ursaluna. We're doing a pretty standard Ursaluna here. We have Trailblaze to get the speed boost up. We're running almost max speed, so again at +1 we should be outspeeding anything that is creeping Goldengo, and then Adamant to try and hit as hard as we can, and enough HP investment to live either a +1 Drain Punch from an Annihilate or a +1 Terra Starstorm from a Terrapagos. So we'll live either one of those hits from full, so if things get hairy we can come in, get the Guts boost, not take chip from the Flame Orb until the following turn, and then, you know, take that hit. Like say we U-turn with Roaring Moon on a Terrapagos, we break the Terra Shell, it goes to Calm Mind, we'll guaranteed live the Starstorm, and then we can go for Facade and OHKO it back, and go from there. Yeah, that's the gist. And then the idea here is he may bring like an Air Balloon Annihilate into Ursaluna as well, and so when we bring this in we just click Trailblaze first time, because if it goes into Annihilate we get the Trailblaze boost, then we outspeed, and then we can click Headlong and KO it. So that's kind of Ursaluna's job here, and it just brings so much pressure if he does bring the Pheasantipity or the Gastrodon. Anytime we pivot into this thing using like U-turn on Moon or pull a double, it just applies so much pressure, because if we get that first kill on the Annihilate, then he just does not have switch-ins to a Facade anymore. I mean, almost no one does, but if we get that first KO, then Ursaluna just applies so much offense onto this team. And then we have Iron Thorns making it back for this week. We've dropped Thunderous as the Terra Captain, and instead going with an Air Balloon Iron Thorns. Air Balloon Terra Ghost is specifically so if he brings the Starstorm Earth Power combo, we're guaranteed to wall that Terrapagos basically. But I probably won't be terroring on this thing straight away. We'll just stick with the Air Balloon and see, like, kind of scout out what moves it does have to hit me. If it just switches out first time, then it means it's probably that Starstorm Earth Power combo, but he might go for something else to break the balloon. At least then we know what his coverage move is and can kind of deal with it a bit better from that point. And then we have spikes to try and just get up a spike on something, like if we can force out like the Volcanion or something like that, or the Weavile, we can get up a spike and just get little bits of chip on those things we need to try and enable the Cinderace endgame, like getting bits of chip on the Gastrodon and the Jirachi, between the Terra and stuff like that would be nice. Brick Break is the tech I mentioned that might help against the Impidimp. It's also our best move to just hit Terrapagos in general after we've broken Terra Shell. I really wasn't sure what like other moves. I knew I wanted Spikes and Dragon Tail, because the Dragon Tail here allows us to break the Terra Shell on Terrapagos, phase it out, so it has to come in and set up again, and once its Terra Shell is broken, it has a much harder time to set up. End up going with just Brick Break Terra Blast with Terra Ghost as like good neutral coverage. It's why Annihilate's so good. It hits everything neutrally. It just does what it does. We get off good chip on stuff. I could have run a lot of different things, but end up going with this one. I tossed up like Terra Flying at one point. There was like a Terra Fighting Brick Break option that should KO Terrapagos after a broken shell with like a Roat Berry. There were lots of options I considered for Iron Thorns. This is what I end up going with as like the most malleable. And then we've got enough investment. I think we take like a +2 Starstorm. Or a +2 super effective hit or something from Terrapagos, and then we can Dragon Tail it out, or so hopefully we can like we can afford to miss one, is I guess what I'm saying, and not immediately lose, because I really don't want to miss a Dragon Tail. And then we'll just go from there with Iron Thorns, get our chip, get our hazards, and see what we can do. So yeah, bit more back to standard kind of bulky offense for me. Like things like the Roaring Moon are kind of right in my wheelhouse of like offensive fast pivot that also hits hard. Exactly what I want to use. Jack's team is super scary. There's lots of options he could bring, and so we'll see what he decides to bring against us, and we'll get right into the battle. Okay, now here for the battle against Jack. I'm going to lead Prim, I think is the plan here. He's told me he's Terra Fire, Volcanion, and Terra Fairy on the Jirachi, so probably won't Terra the Volk, if I had to guess, but good to know it's not Terra Fairy. That means Roaring Moon should actually be a pretty decent switch in. I actually don't know if it gets Dragon Pulse. I should look that up. Do you get Dragon Pulse Volcanion? Because if you do, I may have overlooked that, and that would be unfortunate. You do not. Okay, that's fine then. So we'll see what he wants to lead with. Leading Primarina because I don't really have a switch into Weavile. Like, it can switch in once, but it doesn't love it. Whereas I kind of want to bring in that Volcanion if I can. No, I could like have fun to Jack. Ursaluna might struggle here, but we'll see what the Jirachi set is. We should be able to take one from any Jirachi. Canyon D's Volcanion Nuts. Cool. That's fine. I don't think I want to stay in here and take a Sludge Bomb. I think I just go hard out into Roaring Moon and then just probably fire off an EQ. EQ or U-turn would be fine. I mean, Annihilate might come in. Yeah, so we're going to switch out here. Let's scout this damage, shall we? What are you looking like? Sludge Wave. Did 107. Okay, so Sludge Wave, not Sludge Bomb. That's looking sort of normal roll for what we'd expect. How much are we doing to an Annihilate? Not a ton, I don't think. Like, knockoff will do half. Do I just want to fire off a knockoff? We can always roost on this thing. I think my play is slightly different because I'm not trying to force a terror on this thing anymore. I just need to hit it. So I'm going to knock off here and see what item you are. I don't think you want to stay in here because you're Terrafire. Interesting. So it is AV. Body Press. That's heat. That's fucking heat, my dude. So AV Body Press. EQ will just take this thing out from where it's up to. Did not expect that. That's looking like it might not have defense investment. I can roost up on things later, so I think I am just going to EQ here. If I can get rid of Volcanion super early, that'd be fantastic. I don't think you take one. Let's see, that did 207. Yes, that's looking like no defense investment, potentially, or a little bit. He does switch, so AV knocked off. Sharon is going to be the Shaman. Yeah. Damn. We are getting played. Now the question is... So that looks offensive. And D-Gleam just kills. Do I think you can lock into D-Gleam if you're like Scarfed? That just gives me Ace if he does lock in. So I'm going to be a little bit aggressive here and roost. And scout. Okay, so he's not Scarfed. Does succeed flare. We dodge. Wouldn't have done a ton. Like, we should have lived, even if it's modest specs. So I am gonna now U-turn. Okay, so you've got some bulk. Could be like max HP. Yeah. I think I just go gold and go here. Should take a Dazzling Gleam pretty well. Yeah, it does 30. So you're definitely not specs. And potentially not even invested. Okay, so this is looking like bulky Shaman. Blucky. Looks like Make It Rain is a roll to kill. So I think I'm going to click that and take my damage on this. I mean, Volcanion comes in now. Or Terrapagos. So we break Shell here. How much is that doing? That did about 20. So this is bulky AF as well. Really bulky. Holy. Like it even has the def investment. So there's no way we stay in here. But we have broken shell, so that's good. I think I'm just going to go into Iron Thorns here. And kind of scout what he wants to do. He's just Calm Mind. So we should live anything this wants to go for. I am just gonna not Terra and Dragon Tail, I think. Yeah, he's Flamethrower. No burn, please. And we do land, perfect. Cool, so he's about like 65%. Into the Weavile. That's not fantastic, if I'm being honest. Although we do have no item now. So, I mean, Brick Break would just kill this. Does he think we have it, is the question. We should live anything he wants to go for. Particularly now we have no item. And now that we've broken Shell on Terrap, it's not as much of a threat. So even if you're banned... Let's see, 278... What HP are we at? If you're banned, Triple Axle might kill. But I think I'm just going to Brick Break here. I think that's more useful than the Spike. Yeah, he does switch out. I'm not risking it, that's fair. The Spike would have been nice. He goes into the Rachi. Does a good amount, a bit over 20. So this is not bulky Rachi, this is very offensive. Looks like potentially no investment, because that's what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, that's like no investment whatsoever. So Terra Blast would just kill this, unless you Terra Fairy, which you should. Yeah, if you Terra Fairy, I'm not doing a ton. What do I want to bring in on this is the question. Maybe I just go hard Ursa. I think I do go hard Ursa. It's not really breaking anything else in this game. I can see what Jirachi wants to do here. Yeah, it does pop the Terra. Cool. Thank God we have Gunk Shot on Cinderace, is all I can say. So there's now a Fairy type Jirachi. Misses the medium mash. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. That really sucks. Cool. Even Terra Fairy Facade is OHKOing this thing. We should take any hit it wants to go for, so it is physical. I am going to Trailblaze first. I think that's always my play. Yeah, he switches out. We see Ebloon Annihilate. Yes, get fucking predicted. Okay, so we should outspeed this unless it's something very strange. That looks like kind of just max HP. I'm gonna click. What's your switch into a headlong rush now? Nothing. Shaman should die afterwards. Yeah, so we should just kill this. Down goes the 8. Okay. Ursulina did its job. Dies to Ursa. And now you go Weavile, probably. That was a weird glitchy animation for you, Ursa. So that's good to know. We don't get to scout the Jirachi at all, but that's good. Yeah, in comes Weavile. I don't think we ever take a hit from this. And it should always outspeed. If he's not... He's not banded. Right. But I think I just go Primarina. Always. Can save some HP on Ursa for later. Scout out the damage on this thing. Does go for Axel. He's not pads, perfect. So we can scout out what kind of damage this is doing. So that's good. He's got all 3 hits and almost completely dies. So that brought us down to 243. That is indeed Choice Band, I believe. Yeah. Looks like, or at least boosting item. Could it be Never Melt Ice? No, so I think that has to be Choice Band. So I don't think we had any chip on this whatsoever. So you're not going to click it again. You're going into Volcanion here. So I'm going to double, I think. We put on a lot of pressure with Moon now. Helmet's paying dividends. Okay, here goes this thing. That's fine. So you're at bang on 50. And we didn't knock you off. We know that you're bulky. So knockoff probably won't kill. So we could just see a synthesis come out here. I think I just U-turn in case you don't have synthesis. Bring it down nice and low. Cinderace, do you take one well? You don't take an Earth Power. I mean, that's not a Specs, so you're not that. You're fucking something else. So we would take an Earth Power. I don't think we really necessarily want to on Cinderace, so I think I'm going to go Golden Go again. We should take a little bit better. And he just leaves. Cool. I mean... do we just take our kill? I can't really safely lock into Shadow Ball, because there is a trap in the back. The trap's fairly worn down, is the thing. It's at like 65. I could click Focus Blast here. I wouldn't really want to miss, but we should be able to just pick off this thing. Yeah, I think I'm just going to make it rain and play around Trapagos. Custap! Is this going to be the second time I get punked by a Custap berry? Alright, Custap Healing Wish, that's fine. That's actually fire. Into the trap. Surely this goes into Terrapagos now. Volcanion? Sure. I'll take that. I mean, we don't switch in great to this thing with Body Press. Until you Terra Ghost, potentially. I mean, still don't switch in, but we can do a lot. So Spike is looking really good here now, if I can get that up at some point. I mean, you're clicking a fire move, right? I kind of want to go the moon. It's either moon or prim. I think I'm going to go prim. I think he probably feels like he has to make a prediction. So Weavile is CB. There's just Steam Eruption. Okay. He gets the burn. That's a bit whatever. So I should have gone moon. There, he's still playing very safe. So Sludge Wave will just kill us, I believe. Because they're not very specially bulky. Yeah. I just stay in with this thing. I mean, it doesn't switch into Weavile anymore, but it does force him to not click triple axle is the thing. So I think we might actually go Thorns here. We've only shown 2 attacks. And we'll take... The fact that he didn't heal up Trap means I'm more willing to use it here. Goes to Sludge Wave. No poison, that's great. So if we do Terra, Steam Eruption is doing 214 max and is not killing. So I could get a Spike. Do I need the Spike for anything? It's nice to bring Weavile low, but Weavile's super low and when it dies to anything. You got to be threatened by a rock move here, right? So what are you going into? Tarap? Or Rachi? I'm going to go for a Spike here. I don't think he risks this. He Healing Wished it back up to full. You don't just let me get damage on it. Because if I'm running like Stone Edge, you can't Terror anymore. And this thing could just die. He stays in. We should outspeed. Yeah. That's why I thought he wouldn't stay in there. Alright. Settle down, stop over predicting. He's playing super safe. Let's go to Steam Eruption. We should live this. Yeah. No burn? Perfect. I mean, I'll take my damage if you can let me have my damage. This thing's now useless. I'm just surprised he stayed in and risked it. As he predicted me not to have the rock move or something. Or not to be faster. Just goes for Flamethrower. Picks me up. Okay. Canyon KOs Iron Thorns. So that wasn't ideal. How do we kill this thing now? Because he should be running enough speed for Ursaluna. Because based on that damage... So Goldengo won't kill even though he's no longer Assault Vest. I believe. Yeah, won't do enough. I think we go Roaring Moon here. We should live a Body Press again. And EQ should be doing a lot. And your switch into this is gone, so I'm going to EQ now. Shaman's down. Weavile's not taking one from where it's at. We've got a spike up, which is nice. EQ actually might not kill this from where it's at, but we should live a body press, and that's his tech for it. He has revealed his whole moveset as well. Jot that down. Steam, sludge, body press. Lives on a sliver. So I don't need health on this thing if this thing is down. Do I heal up more? It's not worth risking it for the crit, is it? Like, I can potentially heal up more, but he eventually just crits me and I lose. So I am just going to kill this thing. Dies to Moon. So in comes probably Weavile. Jirachi. Time to find out if you're scarfed. I mean, we died at anything. I am just going to click knock off. Get rid of an item. Punching glove, that's cool. second healing wish. Okay. So now in comes the Terapagos. If I just clicked EQ there, did that just die? No, surely that lived. Yeah, now in comes the Terap. Okay, now he's beaten my answer to this thing. Second healing wish, Pippin. Okay, how do we not lose to Terap right now? I think we U-turn into Goldingo. So we saw that you weren't lefties. We know you're pretty bulky. Because we know he's bulky, we could go Ursa. Yeah, I think I prefer going Ursa Luna here. Because we've done just the smallest amount of chips, so it should die to anything, even if it's pretty bulky. It should die to Facade. And we should be able to take a Starstorm. Even at +1. Rock Polish, that's fine. So he's Rock Polish, Carmine, Starstorm, Flamethrower. But we live one. We always live one. And I simply click Facade here. And there isn't a fuck around and do anything else, I don't think. This should be a roll to kill. Even if he's max HP. Which I don't think he would be if he's Rock Polish. Let's just go for Starstorm. We should live. Got a bit of bulk. Yeah, we live. We won't live a second one, though. He's not Chillon. Oh, it lives on the tiniest amount. Okay. So we just need something that can take a hit from this, then. I mean, I'll click Trailblaze if he lets me live, but he won't. He goes Flamethrower. That might be a throw. Yeah. Okay. Dies to Ursaluna. Ursaluna dies to Burn. I'll have to see how that plays out, but now it should just be Weavile, and we have a Scarf Goldendo in the back. So I think we're Gucci. Oh, wee wee. Wee wee wee. TikTok. Is this the tiniest Weavile or the biggest Goldengo? I'm just going to click Make It Rain. And that should be GG, because we know you're not Scarfed. You have to be banded based on the damage you did, yeah. Scarf Goldengo gets the kill. And I think that's us in playoffs. Shoutouts to Double Healing Wish. Jack got as many KOs as I did this game, but most of them were self-KOs. Yeah, 0-3 to 5-4. That feels pretty good, and that felt like a pretty strong performance. Cinderace never even hit the field, and that was our primary win con. So, yeah, everything kind of did its role pretty well. And I guess we'll be in playoffs next week. I think it doesn't depend on anyone else's results, given that we won. I think we're now through no matter what. So I don't know who we're playing yet, obviously. But you'll find out next week, just when I find out, and we'll go from there. So yeah, we're back, baby.